Okay, so after writing the script, I found out that there were a ton of things in the games I cover that I missed. Do not take this video as a game review, and also in part 2, I'll look at the things I missed. Whoops. Wow, remember Flash games? Yeah. Well, anyway, do you know who Bart Bonte is? No? Well, do you know what Factory Balls is? If you recognize that game name or this gameplay, then you probably know who he is because he made that game. But he made a ton more Flash games than that, and they were pretty good. But then in 2020, the Flash player was discontinued, which also took away the ability to play those games in the browser. Don't worry, he took a ton of Flash games he made and put them into one huge collection, the Bart Bonte collection. It's available on Steam if you want to take a look at it, and once you open the game, you get a selection of the games. Let's take a look at all of them. The first one here is called Cat in Japan. Basically, the way to beat this game is by finding 20 sushi for this one cat. Some of them are in plain sight, but for some you have to click on objects that might be on top of the sushi. Not only that, there are puzzles you need to solve. You can also grab stuff that you might need to finish puzzles. There are clues everywhere. Once you do get all the sushi, the cat eats all of it and then someone throws a gong at it. The end. But that's not the end of these cat adventures. This one is called Where is Cat? That's a stupid question, it's right here. Oh, never mind, it's over here. Oh, what? Whoops, it's here. No, it's here. Why does the dang cat keep moving? I'll get you. Basically, the aim of this game is to find a specific object in 7 locations. It changes each time you find it. First, you have to find the cat, and then the cat wants you to find plates, and some cups, and then you need to find cupcakes, and then you need to find a mouse. There's a mouse in every room of this house. Go and exterminate it, for goodness sakes. And all the things you found are set up in the garage, and then a giant cake appears, and then you click on that button, and the cat eats everything. Not the mice, though. But then we move on to a classic you guys have probably heard of. Factory Balls. For this game, you get a bunch of balls, and then the design you have to put on them. You have to drag a ball over a tool to give it the correct properties. There are only 14 levels, so I was able to beat this one pretty fast. There's also an extra tumble mode, so that's pretty fun. Well, the next game is Factory Balls 2, and this time there's 30 levels. This is pretty much the same thing as last time. There are more tools to use and also a bunch more gimmicks, being able to put grass and flowers on the balls, but needing to water them the right amount. And then the next game is Factory Balls 3, 30 levels again, same deal as last time, nothing really has changed. You could make the colors lighter. Let's hope this next game is more original. So now we got Factory Balls 4. I don't think I want to play this one. What, there's Angry Birds? Well, now I gotta play this. There's 30 levels, and this is obviously the most fleshed out game in the series. It's smoother and also has a tutorial. The difficulty kinda needs you to have played the first 2 or 3 games though, so we don't really need it. Same thing as last time. It's a little bit harder and has more stuff, and it doesn't even have a tumble mode. I want my tumble mode! That's the last Factory Balls game in this collection. We have another series coming up, but don't worry, the sequels are way more unique. This series is called Me and the Key. For this series, you get a puzzle, but you need to get a key. It's fun. To beat each level, you have to do something different. There's sliding box puzzles, and drag stuff, spell stuff, and also some full-on mini-games like Breakout, and also Snake. For some reason, the version of Snake only uses clicking, which only lets you turn one way, so it's a bit more difficult. First and second games are pretty much the same type of thing, but the third one is a bit more different. The art style is way different and simple. Penguins are in an actual place this time, and there's no music. Well, at least not until the last level. If I have to give criticism for the third game, it seems way more repetitive than all the others, but it's still a fun time. Still, you just gotta get a key in each level. If you like puzzle games that aren't as predictable, and you like penguins, this is a good series for you. Anyway, the next game we have is called Drmzzz. It was made for the Nitro Game Jam in 2014. The game starts off with you falling asleep, and then a mini version of you goes into an alarm clock, and then you have to blast off, and then you go to the moon, and click on this wormy thing, but then you have to make a bunch of worms yellow, and then you start playing Snake again, but it's not really Snake because you don't grow length when you get stars. But then you start playing Snake again, but with like 6 worms, and all the worms die and make a sound, but it was actually an alarm clock, and then you get a tumor in your brain, and then the game ends. Definitely a bit more chaotic game. It's also shorter than the most of the games here. There seems to be a more extended version of the game called Sweet Dreams on mobile devices though. Anyway, the next game in this collection is called 40x Escape. In in this game you are trapped in multiple little rooms. What you need to do in each room is light up all the letters in the sign above the door that says escape. To do that, you need to try to complete each one of the puzzles in each room by seeing its clues and just trying stuff out 40 times. Since it's just one of the games with a bunch of mini escape rooms and puzzles, you can't really talk about this game in depth without pretty much giving off a whole walkthrough of it. There's this bird in the room though, but once you do escape 40 times, the bird flies out and leaves you to die. So that next game here is called Full Moon, and it's another one of the many puzzle games where there's like multiple puzzles. But basically, you just need to give a certain snack to a bunny. But what I have to say with this game, I don't know if I just have like a skill issue or something, but are some of these puzzles just like a little bit too difficult? Like in this one, you need to land this acorn onto a leaf, but they have totally different falling speed and a pretty small timing window, so you have to be just right, and you probably fail like 3 times before actually doing it right. And you can't even try again right after you fail because this tree only gives you the correct leaf every 3rd time you click on it. Plus, you also need to click this rock or the leaf stops and you have to do it all over again, but you probably know that because you need to click everything with these games. And there's also this level and this level, but whatever. This segment is getting too long for me. I don't like the shade of blue in the sky. For our next game, we have a game called Sugar Sugar. This is another one a couple people would probably recognize. For this game, a bunch of sugar would drop down from this comma, and you need to get the sugar into these cups. How do you do that? Well, by drawing lines to direct the sugar, of course. You can kind of call this a physics game. There's also a bunch of gimmicks that show up. Like here, you get these color changes, and you got to get the green sugar in the green cup and the orange sugar in the orange cup. That easy. Then there's also this button that can flip the gravity of everything. And there's also sometimes holes in the floor which has the sugar fall down into them and then fall from the other side of the screen, which is pretty cool. There's some hard levels, but there's also some funny levels like this one. This is a good game. There's also a free play mode, but I don't really want to go through all the trouble of beating the entire game for it. Anyway, the next game we have is... Dang it, are we really doing another series? I know these games weren't made for commentary, but my needs should be prioritized over everybody else's. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. Well, what's new in this game? The same gimmicks return in this one, but there's also some new ones. Here we have some teleporters. What do? Teleport the sugar. Not much has really changed here. We have some new and harder levels, and for some reason, a heavier focus on spoons, but from how far I got, there's not too much that's changed. And then we got Sugar Sugar 3. It's different. When you draw lines, you don't get blurry, but to be honest, I'll probably just look at these again later. Well, what else do we have? We have a series of 3 escape rooms here. These are basically just escape rooms, and you can't really put commentary on escape rooms. The first one here is called Loose the Moose. And don't worry, you do lose a moose. Once you loose the moose and give a gumball to a mouse though, you get well done. Anyway, the next escape room here is called A Bark in the Dark. Well, this one says Bart Bonte Presents, so that means it's cinematic. Well, here you do get to abuse a mouse again, so don't worry. You also get a memory game here, but there's a whole other part where you do get outside and have to do a series of a different type of puzzle. But I didn't get to that part because I accidentally exited out the game after the memory game and I wasn't able to save my progress. So you can just watch someone else's gameplay footage. The next game here is called Bonte Escape. And oh hey, it's the bird from 40X Escape. Sadly, that seems to be the only influence from Bonte's other games. So if you were expecting an escape room themed around his other games, sorry. Anyway, it's just another escape room. I needed to walk through for this and you don't get to kill mice. Dang it! Well, at least you do get to give a bird water and orange juice. Why does this bird call me a twat? Well, you get to go to a box, get the key, and you get well done. The end. The next game is called Yellow. What's this game about? It's just another multiple puzzle game. To win each level, you need to make the screen yellow. But some criticisms I have about this game is that some levels drag on a bit, like a lot. And some puzzles are just kind of taken from Bonte's other games. But this next game is a big change of pace. It's called Farafalla, and it's pretty much just a collecting platformer. It's fun, but there's a lot of walking. Basically, you need to get these color-coded balloons. They're used like keys on doors. Anyway, once you make your way to the end of this maze, you find a girl, and then... Yep, they die. Just kidding, it's a happy love story, I think. And then you get a custom cursor for some reason. Well, the next game is called Duck, Think Outside the Flock, and it's another multiple puzzle game. But some of the levels here are pretty ambitious, like we have some straight up card matching and tic-tac-toe minigames. Once you beat all the levels, the waters go dark and the duck follows your mouse. The next game here is called Doggnation. It's a game where you need to deliver specific block patterns to upgrade a castle. This one deals with sequencing and stuff, a lot of gimmicks show up. I didn't finish this one, but I was pretty tired. The next game is called Piksels. To beat each level, you need to get pixels in a specific location and sometimes specific shape. Some gimmicks are razzed, but I can't show them because I got stuck at level 4. I could not figure out how to be level 4 at all. Anyways, the next game is called 25. It's kind of like 2048, but there's also these red blocks you can't use to merge anything. To get rid of them, you need to put them in a line of 3 or more. The best score I got was 1039. The next game is called Must Pop Words. It's like your casual word game. Letters fall down and you need to make words with those letters. But also this penguin pops up occasionally and can give you objectives to do to get extra points or help you out. Once 50 letters drop down, the game's over. It's pretty fun. The game does get harder, like increasing the speed of stuff dropping down and increasing the amount of letters you need to make a valid word. The highest score I got on this was 1677. The next game here is called Furiosity. Basically, you need to make the screen a color, but there's a different way to do it each time. You need to use logical thinking, but I don't think I'm too good at that because I got stuck on level 5. I guess that's better than how I did on Piksels though. This next game is called Klikwerk. It's kind of like playing with a bop-it. You need to point, click, drag and drop, or press space. You just need to rack up as many points as you can until the main game is over. There's also supposed to be a rhythmic element, but that didn't really work because the game started delaying for some reason. Must be the screen recording software I used. But if you get more than 30,000 points, you get a bonus round. It's not to a rhythm anymore, but you just gotta try to do random stuff until you miss once. My final score was 40,200 points. Well, there's one last game in this collection, and it's called What's Inside the Box. It's another multi-puzzle game, so it's a little hard to make commentary on it. But anyways, wait a second, this level is literally just a level from Bonte Escape. Anyway, I got stuck at level 15, so I guess we'll never know what's inside this box. At least not yet. Well, if that's all the games in the Bart Bonte collection, then that must be all the games he made, right? Nope. If you look at his website or his blog, you'll see a couple more games that I didn't cover. He also has some more games on Steam. Good thing I got the Bart Bonte bundle because now I can play those games. And I'll take a look at those games, his mobile games, and take another look at everything I missed here in part 2. Goodbye. I just spent $10 on free games.
We're going at it tonight, tonight. There's a party on the rooftop, top of the world tonight, tonight. And we're dancing on the edge of the Hollywood sign. I don't know if I'll make it, but watch how good I'll fake it. It's alright, alright. Tonight, tonight. You got me singing like, whoa.